friends. Welcome to Read This Book. I'm your book hostess, LaShonda, bringing you this week's installment of my favorite series. Last week, I introduced you to d.a.young in her series, The Men of Whiskey Row. Well, today, I introduce you to my absolute favorite series by d.a.young, and that is The Ties That Bind. This series right here, this series right here is everything sexy, dangerous, dirty, grimy, illegal, sexy, funny, heartbreaking, sexy, dangerous. In a nutshell, this book is the shit. This entire series. Remember when I told you that she writes in layers? This series is that and so much more. The Ties That Bind is a series about a motorcycle club called the Immortals and the twin brothers Ransom and Harley. Ransom and Harley are the crown princes of the motorcycle club. Their father is the president, and one of them is the heir apparent. Their father, by all intents and purposes, is he's a son of a bitch. He is every bad word that I can think of. He is just evil incarnate. Like how he treats his sons and the things that he do, he is just the worst, and you immediately dislike him. But this book ain't really all about him per se, but he's a big part of it. But this book, the first book, introduces you to Ransom and Harley and Wilhelmina, aka Billy. It introduces you into their lives and how Ransom is immediately taken with Billy. He is torn between acknowledging his love for her and wanting a future with her, but knowing that his responsibility is to his MC. He is an enforcer. Again, he is the twin brother to Harley, and Harley by rights should be the next president because he's the firstborn, but Harley is a fuck up with a capital F. And so when you start this series, you immediately get an insight, a glimpse into Ransom and Harley's relationship, but the story really centers around Ransom and Billy when Billy blew into Chatham, New Mexico, and turned his world upside down. And so Billy is there to confront her father, Rage, who owns the bar in the town. So the Immortals is a motorcycle club. They're based out of Chatham, New Mexico, and they basically run, they run that area. They are not, they're not good people. They do some things, but they are a family. They're not a community. They are a family. And so you're introduced into the Immortals and kind of get an understanding of who they are and what they do. You're introduced to the Prez, who is, like I said, evil incarnate. But then you have his sons. You have Ransom and Harley, who have been under his thumb. And you see how they have grown up and how they deal with that. Ransom is the enforcer. He's smart. He is so tough, but he has a good heart. He's a good person, but he understands the weight and the responsibility of being a part of the MC and what needs to come next. Where Harley has always looked for his father's approval, who desperately wanted his father's approval, but his father looks at him as the weak link and treats him like sugar honey iced tea. So that's their background, and you get introduced to those things in this book. At the same time, here is this 18-year-old fresh-faced Billy who is coming to meet her father and, you know, try to have some type of relationship or some type of closure about what's happened between them. And she meets Ransom, and he is immediately taken with her. But he also understands that he has to protect her because his MC, there's some vultures in there. And so while he's trying to navigate getting to know her and having a relationship with her and just enjoying this freedom that comes with her, he's also dealing with a lot of the MC club stuff. You know, there's some things that go horribly, horribly wrong, and he has to enforce. And so there's this balance of, you see him being the enforcer and this tough guy, and then you see him with Billy, who he is brutally honest. They have brutally honest conversations, and he is who he is. But he also has this ease, this freedom with her that he don't have. He doesn't get a chance to breathe when he's with the club because he has to be on, per se. And so you're reading, and there's this burgeoning love affair that's happening between them, and there's all this drama. It's like they are in the center of this storm, and they know the storm is there, but they're still trying to enjoy their moment together before everything implodes. And when it implodes, oh my God, it gets hectic, it gets messy, it gets grimy. It is just everything amazing. It's amazing because she has woven this story where you cannot put it down. You cannot believe the things that happen. There are things I was like, oh no, the hell. And then there are parts that made me laugh. There are parts that just, it touched me in a way, because Wilhelmina is dealing, you know, with a very heavy loss and trying to figure out her life and where she needs to go. Even though she has a plan, she's going to the university, but she had no idea that meeting Ransom would change everything for her. And he had no idea that meeting her would change everything for him. And so it comes down to, you know, he has to make a decision. Is he going to be loyal to his MC, or is he going to follow his heart and be loyal to Billy? Yes, it's a lot that happened in book 1. But book 2 and 3 and book 3.23 part 2, oh my God. This series spans over 3-4 decades, I think. Because in this book, Ransom is 22 and Billy is 18. And in the final book, I think they're like in their 40s. But it is an amazing series. It follows them, you know, from this burgeoning romance to all of the decisions that they both make. It builds and it gives you the absolute heartache. You get starting over, you get second chances, you get finding out who you are. It's so much in this series. Again, d.a.young has written a masterful story that builds and builds and builds. And like I said, it's like you're in the center of the storm, and you know the storm is raging, and you want to get out of the storm, but you also know that to get out of the storm, you got to go through it. And going through it is reading this entire series. I promise you, once you read this book, you will immediately go to the next one. Even if you're like, I don't know about MC, you know, motorcycle gang books, that type of thing. I don't know about that. Trust me, book friend, read this series. Again, it's one of my favorites by her. It's just beautifully crafted. It has everything. And again, it expands over like 4 decades. So you get to see them from the very beginning until the very end. And it is just It is everything beautiful. It is everything that love should be. It is everything about family and loyalty and just, damn it. D.a.young. The series is The Ties That Bind. There are 4 books. It's book 3 is actually in 2 parts. So there's book 3 part 1 and book 3 part 2. You want to read all the parts. Every single one. Again, this is one of my favorite series. I think the bookmark just fell out. I don't even know why there's a bookmark in there. But I've read it at least 5 times. At least 5. And every time I read it, I pick up on something new. Like, how did I miss that detail? Every time I read it, I just still feel all giddy with them learning each other and finding each other. And then just, read this dang on book. Read this book, The Ties That Bind by d.a.young. So, if you're liking my videos, if you're liking the reviews, if you are enjoying the series, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like the video. And if you would be so inclined, please share with your book friends because they need to know about the book goodness too. Don't be selfish. Don't keep this all to yourself. So share it with your book friends. So if you've read d.a.young, if you've read this series, let me know. If this is your first time, let me know. I am so excited to share it with you. So until next time, read a good book.